absolute pleasure to be here today talking about how we can win new clients with ease. And this is all based on, my book, The Freelance Bible. And, my background is, as well as being an author, I've been a film and TV producer. I've got an MBA from INSEAD, and I very much work with creative and screen industries, freelancers and businesses. That's the prime focus of the work that I do. So delighted to be here at this creative edition of the work that Elena and the team do. So that's a bit about me. I think one of the things I think about when I think about freelancing is, why do people work with me? And that's a question that if we can start to find those answers to, that next step of winning clients will become that bit easier, because we'll understand why we're adding value, why people are going to care. So what I say is, why clients work with me is because I transform creative ideas into a business reality. And where we can get confused in this is, actually, with all these different clients that I work for, I might do quite different things to achieve that transformation for my clients. So when I work with Penguin, I'm writing a book that's transforming my idea into a business reality. When I'm working here today, I'm helping you think about how you can transform your creative ideas, your creative expertise into a freelance career through running a webinar. But I also do strategic projects. So all of those require slightly different skills and activities to help my clients reach that end point, but they all come under that theme. And I know that freelancers can get quite confused when they do different things, how they join up. So that's part of the session today. And really, when we're thinking about winning clients, it has to start from customer focused thinking. How can we get ourselves inside the heads of our clients and think about their needs? What do they want? Why do they need me? What's it all about? Because if I can think about it from their point of view, that can really help me unlock opportunity. So the first question I ask when a client approaches me, I think, why does this company want to hire me? Do they want me because I've got specialist skills? They don't have anyone in their business who can do that work, so they need my specialist skills, but only for a little bit of time. So they might need that, or it might be that they're really flat out in their business. They've got extra projects going on, extra client work, and they need added capacity. So an example of these two differences would be, for example, if you run social media for companies and brands, then a brand might take you on for your specialist skills. If they don't have anybody in-house running their social media, they want somebody to do it, they bring you in to do their social media. So you're bringing in those specialist skills and you work directly for the brand. That's that side. However, if it was an agency that you were going to work for, and that agency delivers social media campaigns for businesses, you might go into that agency to add capacity because they've got new business. And why is this important? It's important because we'd have different conversations. If I'm going in with specialist skills, I might need to explain why they might want to use social media, which platforms might be required, take them on a much longer journey to understanding the value that it can impart for their business. If I'm going in to add capacity, working in an agency, they already know about social media, they already understand about it, they already understand what's needed. So I'll be talking to them about my technical capabilities, how I can do what they need to do, how I can fit with their team. So that's where the story initially starts. It's a different story we tell. We're still delivering the same skills, but they're wanting slightly different things from us. So that's one important question to ask, because that can help us start to nail our pitch for those clients. The other thing we want to think about is, what is our secret sauce? What's our secret sauce recipe, that value that we add to clients? And when I break it down into a series of ingredients. So it is about your skills and experience, absolutely. But that lots of people can have your skills and experience. What makes your secret sauce is adding in a good splash of values. What's important to you? All of those brand values, those values, how you see the world, and exactly the lens that you see the world through. So it is about your skills and experiences, but it's also adding in your values and the lens you see the world through. And when you mix those together thoroughly, that's what makes your secret sauce. That's what makes you valuable to different clients. So When we talk about the value that we add to clients, there are different ways that we can add value, and it's much more than trading time for money. It's about, well, am I fulfilling a need for my clients? So when I work with film and TV production companies, when they're crewing up for a new production, they need a whole stack of freelancers across all different departments to help them realize their production. That's fulfilling a need for a client. They need someone to do a certain role to help them make their film. I fulfill a need. But it could be that the work that you do develops new opportunities for your clients. So you might work with a client because, say, I might work with a client who wants to understand more about creative industries and creative freelancers because they want to sell their product or service to them. So they might hire me so I can help them understand how that marketplace works. It might be about finding new markets, new opportunities for that client. It could be simply increasing sales for your clients. So if you're making video content, social media strategy, it could be all about furthering sales. That's, if you can increase sales for a client and what you do, that's much more valuable than your freelance rate. That's transforming their business. It could be saving money on the bottom line. It's not increasing sales, but it's increasing their profit margins. That can have huge value. So think about what the work that you do and how do you add value to clients. So that's what we're starting to think about when we're thinking about winning new clients with ease. What are the different ways that how do I add value in the work that I do? Why does a client, why does a customer take on my services? They're not hiring me as a freelancer because they're giving to charity. They're doing it because they have a strategic need, a KPI, a key performance indicator in their business. They've got targets they want to hit, and they have identified that having this kind of freelance service in their business is going to enable them to hit that. So how can I explain what I do in that way? That's what I want to think about. How do I add value? Because when I can do that, I can start unlocking opportunities because I'm starting to talk my client's language. So once I've worked out the different ways that I can add value, I can start to think about, well, okay, if I understand where I add value, I can start to visualize who my ideal customers might be. Who might these customers be? If I can understand how I can add value, I can say, well, actually, if I do that, that client is really going to like me because I can add that to their business. So I can start to visualize who these clients are, what sectors they're in. Maybe it's a size of company, maybe it's a location, maybe it's a type of company, an age, a company culture. It could be all of those different things. It could be sectors, all sorts of different things. So you can start to think, okay, who are these ideal customers? What do they look like? And we'll come back to how we reach out to them in a minute. But I want to also think about, well, what about our competition? Because actually what we know now as we start to come out of COVID and as we've been through COVID is that now as freelancers, there is this globalization of opportunity. So where we can work anywhere in the world, and it's super exciting to be here with, I've seen in the chat, there's people from India, from the UK, from Cyprus, from Belgium, from all over joining us just for this webinar now. So we can join with anyone, we can work anywhere. So that's fantastic. As a freelancer, the world is my oyster, but that also means that anybody can start to come onto my turf as well. So therefore it becomes much more important for us to be clear on why we add value, who these ideal customers are, but actually we can think further, we can think differently about this now. Pre-COVID, I have a young family, I didn't always want to travel much further than an hour from Birmingham, so I would be always looking for local clients. Now I can do all of this work remotely. I can work with anyone, anywhere, and that opens up a whole set of different opportunities. And we still, and it's the same for everybody. So people can come onto my turf. So I have to be really clear on how I add value, but I have more potential clients I can reach out to. So when I'm thinking about this competition, I feel like there's two types of competition. There's those people who do the same work as us, and we're in direct competition for them. And it's really easy to work out who they are. So back in about a number of years ago now, quite a few years ago, I ran a motorbike training school, and we specialized in teaching women how to train motorbikes. So we had other our direct competition was all of those other motorbike training schools that train people to get their bike licenses. So we've all got direct competition, and that's quite easy to spot. And we can go, well, our US peers that we do this, that, the other. What's less obvious sometimes is the indirect competition. So when we're thinking about winning new clients, not only do we want to think about, well, how do we stand out from our direct competition? Do we have indirect competition? So what do I mean by indirect competition? As I said, when I ran my motorbike training school, we had the direct competition from the other bike training schools, but actually our indirect competition was what we focused on, because we specialized in training women to ride motorbikes. So it was a more smaller target market. And actually what we were in competition with was those women's disposable income, because quite often they didn't need a bike license. They didn't need a motorbike license to do their work. They weren't looking to deliver pizza or something like that. We were looking for a high-end working career women. So they didn't need that, but we had to persuade them to part with their disposable income to come and learn to ride a motorbike, as opposed to going out for a nice meal, having a mini break, buying an outfit, whatever it might be. So if we can start to think, actually, if I'm pitching to this client, is it only my services that they might buy to deliver their results, or is it something else? So if I can understand that, that can help me to create my pitch for the client. So understanding who we might be in competition with when we're pitching at clients can really help us again. So we've understood, this is a whistle stop tour through all of this, but we've looked at why a company might hire us, where we add value, who our customers might be, who our competition is. So now, as we start to think about how we reach out to clients, I really think this reaching out, winning clients, meeting new clients, writing new business, it's very much like dating. Freelancing is like dating, because actually those first impressions really do count. And you've got to walk into the room, just like on a date, believing you bring utility, you bring value. Sure, like me, I haven't been dating for many years, but when I did date, I remember those dreadful dates where I just wasn't in the mood, I didn't feel it, and I went out on that date feeling like I had desperate tattooed on my forehead. And, the date didn't go well because I didn't believe in me, so the other person didn't. And it's the same is true when we meet a client and we pitch them. We've got to believe in ourselves. And equally, just like dating, we're looking for long-term relationships with our clients. We're looking for clients who share our values. And how do we find that out? Well, actually, for me, that's where the courtship part of dating is really important, even for us as freelancers. So I like to start working with clients low key and build up, do a little project with them. If it goes well, look for another one, so that we get to know each other, rather than that, going back to the dating, that first date and it's all roses and unicorns and rainbows and we're going to elope into the sun and everything, and then 3 months later the cracks appear, it starts to fall apart, and we get spat out the other side. So starting low key and building allows us to not lose other clients whilst we're doing that, and also be someone people want to spend time with. That first meeting might just be about, can you actually deliver for us? But actually, if it's, once you get beyond that point, being someone people want to spend time with, that can help clients solve problems, gets them coming back to you time and time again. So how do we find these clients to date? Well, I'm always inspired by the work of the anthropologist Robin Dunbar, who coined a number after him, Dunbar's number, 150. And he says that 150 is about the maximum number of people most of us can have in our networks. And it's and those 150 are the sort of people who, if we bumped into in a bar, in a coffee shop, unannounced, unexpectedly, we both know exactly who each other were out of context, and it wouldn't be an issue to sit down and have a cup of tea. So if I'm looking to win new clients, I want to think about, okay, well, who are these 150 people in my network? Who are they? Write down a list. But importantly, what role do they play? Because those 150 aren't going to all have work for us, but actually, what role do they play? They could be sponsors. Sponsors are my favorite people, because sponsors are talking about me when I'm not in the room. I can have mentors, people who are in my sector who help me, but actually also there's a lot of people. That's not going to cover even 50 people probably, but say we have 100 other people who are in our network. They could be introducers. We can start to reframe them and think of them as introducers, because they might not be able to offer us work directly, but they'll always have a cup of tea with us, and they'll always have time for a catch up with us. So actually, how do we find out who do they know? Even if those 100 people only have 2 people, for example, in their network who might be interested in us. That's 200 warm leads that we could write to and be put in touch with. And the chances are we'll probably get meetings with them because they've come through a warm introduction. So that's a way to think about growing our network and doing it in a way that isn't horrifically networking, cold calling, or anything else. It's reaching out through our networks to people we know and framing the conversation. If you are going to keep a list of people's names and addresses, just be mindful for data protection to put a password or something on that file. So you've got your list of people. You're going to reach out to them. You understand why you can add value. What do you say in this email? Because that's quite daunting as well. And actually, the trick is to keep it really short. My great mentor, Mike Southern, talks about 15 seconds to read to win 15 minutes of somebody's time. So it's a really short email. And really, it's a quick hello, and then you want to hook them in. What's the problem or need that you perceive the customer to have? And why are you the best at solving their problem or need? And then, so you've pitched in and now you need proof. So if you're being introduced by someone in your network, that's all the proof you need. Talk to this third party, they'll corroborate. And then it's a simple, how about we just have a short call, 15 minutes. It's really hard to say no to that email. And if it's really short, it's easy to get a quick response. The longer the email, realistically, the longer it'll take somebody to respond to you. So you've sent your winning email and then you've got the call. So you've got to prepare for it. You've got to do your research, thinking about how you can solve that client's problem, thinking about customer focused thinking all the way through. Why me? Talking their language so that you're ready to go on that first date. Have your pitch ready, but just like any good date, it's not just about you talking. Listen, what's important to them, what's missing, think about it. You're looking to build a relationship for the future. So again, that be someone they want to work with, want to spend time with, and recognize buying signals. So if the person you're pitching to suddenly says, so what are you doing next Thursday? Stop selling and look at your diary. Okay, I'm available, whatever it might be, and conclude the meeting with action. So you're the freelancer, you want to follow up. So when would be a good time to contact you again? I'll send you a proposal, whatever it might be, so that you can secure a second date and ideally sell them a little thing. So first, you're at that meeting, they've called you back for that second meeting. Absolutely, they're interested. So now you want to qualify them. Do they need your services? Do they have a budget for your services? Do they want them now? So if you get 3 ticks there, that's when you pitch in. So I'll do that for X. And you stop talking because there's only 3 possible answers and you need the client to answer. So the answer is either yes, great, shake hands, bump elbows, whatever we do now. They say no, well, that's slightly odd. They've called you back for the meeting. You've qualified them, so you might want to probe that. And we'll all get a load of maybes, and some will turn into yeses, some will stay as no, some will turn to no's, and some will continue in an ether of maybes. So that's something we learn along the way. So we're looking to sell them that little thing to get us started, to try out working together. It doesn't have to then be escalated to a big procurement department or anything like that. So get something over the line on the second date. So then you can develop further opportunities with that client. So that, again, be a nice person to work with. You're delivering for them. If you're nice to work with, they'll keep coming back. And again, don't be tempted to over deliver. If we over deliver, that's work we could have got paid for in the future. So come up with a plan. It could be that you come up with 3 phases. Phase 1 is this first little thing, and then we sell them whilst we're delivering. We sell them phase 2, we sell them phase 3, and ask for feedback. It's really simple, but if we ask for feedback, we can find out where there might be other problems and pain points for the client. So asking for feedback isn't tell me everything I've done wrong in this project. It's about 3 things, 3 stars and a wish, 3 things that went well, 1 thing that could have gone better. Ask for it, both of you, both sides talk about that and ask for feedback. You'll find opportunities. But ultimately, the whole focus of winning clients with ease is about being open for business, having an open mindset, being curious, really understanding what your client is trying to achieve, what's their strategic objectives, what are their KPIs, What are they trying to do for their business? Where are they trying to take it? And if you can see how your services, your offering fits in there, how that can deliver value for them, that's when we find opportunities. It's about being open for business and being adaptable, flexible, agile to tailor our services to the needs of clients.